Hello and welcome to Business School on Air. Business School on Air is a program designed to showcase small and medium scale enterprises and to encourage people to go into one business or the other, because the rate of unemployment is skyrocketing in the country. That's how we designed Business School on Air, to encourage young people to go into one business or the other. Today I'll be looking at poultry farming. I met a lady called Agnes. She has been into agric for almost a decade now. She's into poultry farming, eggs laying particularly, but she has applied one or two technology into it that to reduce the rate of the disease outbreak in our poultry. That's what we'll be having on the interactive segment today. But before we go on the interactive segment, let's go on the business tip segment with Kuro John and Gobo.
Hello viewers, you're welcome to Business Tips segment this week on Business School on Air, your favorite TV program on OGTV. My name is Kuro John Ngobo. I'm a trainer and a business development consultant. Today I will be serving you tips on partnerships or working with other people. A lot of people are skeptical about working with other people because they don't know if things will go wrong midway. But remember the saying that says if you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go far, you go together. For that reason, we have to find ways to make partnerships work. And so I will give you 5 quick tips on how to make your partnerships work, things you should look out for before you even begin to go into a partnership with someone else. The first one is for you. Identify your strengths and your weaknesses. What are you strong at? What are you weak at? Now, what you are strong at, you can use in the business to make the business work. What you are weak at, look for someone else who has it and let that person complement you. So if you are good with numbers but you are bad with marketing, find a good marketer. If you are a good person at selling things but you are bad at keeping records, find someone like an auditor, someone who has those innate skills so you can complement yourselves. That helps your business grow. That's the first tip. The second tip, when you find this person, is to begin to communicate effectively and regularly. Remember, communicating effectively means that what I say to you is what you understand. Sometimes you say A to people and they hear B, then the communication is not effective. Communicate effectively and communicate regularly. What's your dream? What's your long-term goals? How does it sync with the other person's own? And then you can move forward. What's tip number 3? Tip number 3 is an interesting one that I had to coin out properly. It's called the 3 R's. Define the 3 R's. And what are the 3 R? Letter R in the alphabet. The first one is roles. What are the roles in the business and who has which role? Let's call them titles so that people will understand it easier. Who's MD and who's CEO? Who's auditor and who's COO? Who is accountant and who's HR? Define those roles. Sometimes there are only 2 of you and there are 6 roles. Pick the roles that each person should carry. Give the title to the right person so you know who's MD and who's not part-time, no matter how small the business is. The second thing you should consider as an R is responsibility. You know, sometimes titles are confusing compared to the work that they do. So when you clear who has the title, clear who has the work. Who's the marketing person? Who's responsible for inventory? Who's responsible for social media following? Who's responsible for taxes? Give the right work to the right person and agree from the beginning. That's why you can prevent issues and arguments in your business. And then there's a third R. The third R is remuneration. Who gets what? Even if it is a single one-off transaction or a long-term business, you can agree from the beginning who gets 30%, who gets 70%. Make sure that you discuss that and agree who gets what. That's number 3. Number 4, put it down. Write the things that you've agreed on all this while. Write it down somewhere. Come up with a memorandum of understanding, come up with an agreement, and make sure it's written down somewhere. And agree on those things. When you finish writing it down as a 5th tip, make sure you agree on them. Both of you have signed off on it. Put a witness in place or something. If you put these 5 tips in place, it's going to be easy for you to have a partnership and make it work. And all the things you're worried about in partnerships, oh, somebody will stab my back, he will steal my money and run away. Most people can't complain to anybody because they didn't put things right in the first place. And they still say every day that 2 good heads, not just 2 heads, are better than 1. When you find that good head, do these things, and then you'll be sure to get your business to go to any level you want to get it to. Write things down, determine who gets what, ensure that you are complementing what is a weakness in you in somebody else, and you go places. Thank you very much for joining us on this week's episode. Ensure that in the course of this week, before I come back to you next week, you found what your strengths and weaknesses are, and you are looking at the right partner to help you take your business and your dreams to the next level. My name is Kuro John Ngobo. I'll be around next week.
Well, I'm passionate about what I do. I enjoyed the farming. Poultry, as one of the enterprise I'm involved in, it's an interesting and challenging enterprise. We have different specialization or areas in poultry production. It's a very wide industry. Poultry industry is a very wide industry that you can always key in. It has employed millions of people and is still employing. Where do we start from? Is it from the breeding? When we start from the breeder farm. What they do, they are the one that produce the commercial birds, the birds you see in the pen, the day-old that we see in the market, the broiler, the cockerel, the pullets that turn to layers that lay egg. Is from the breeder farm that they come from. So the breeders are the ones that will produce those fertilized eggs. They take the eggs to the hatchery to hatch. Then farmers or marketers, they go and buy the day-old for raising. And even at that too, when some people go and buy, their own work stops at brooding or 4 weeks. That's why when you get to the market, you see broilers of 4 weeks in the market. So that's another area too. Some are into 4 weeks birth production. Some are into point of cage. That is with regards to the layers. We have what we call point of cage. That is 12 weeks old pullets. So when they raise to 12 weeks, they sell. Other people will sell, put in cage or put on floor system, and they will become egg producers. While some will raise to what we call point of lay, 16 weeks. From that stage, some people will buy also, put in their pen, and start rearing to produce egg. Why some people prefer point of lay is because the major by that time the major medication and vaccination would have been done. So they will just be doing some routine work every month. The major one would have been done that the birds need to take at the initial stage of life that will make them to be safe would have been done. So they go for that. Then with regards to the hatchery and breeder, what we have mostly, which is better off, is the farm that have the breeder also has an hatchery. Just like we have in Obasanjo then. They have their breeder farm. They are the one that will produce the hatchable egg. They are the one that will hatch, then sell the birds out. But commonly, which you have that is so numerous, are individual farmers that produce eggs, take it to commercial hatchery to hatch and buy. So the challenges are there also. What we have mostly in Nigeria, most companies that are into production of day-old, some diversify into feed production, some also into drug production, and some also go into commercial production. So which they are taking up, some take up about 4 enterprise, 4 in 1, some 3 in 1. So likewise, after some people have raised up to that 4 weeks, some people will buy, raise to maturity like the broilers you see in the market. Some buy the 4 weeks and raise, some buy the matured one to go and slaughter or go and resell. So we have a lot of marketers that market poultry products, both the meat and the egg. Some will buy already matured broilers. Their own work is to go and process at the processing unit. That is, they would kill the feather, the gut, and freeze. That's where you see the frozen chicken. So it's now another enterprise for people to buy and sell in the market. So you can imagine the enterprise is so wide that anybody can key into it. Part of poultry industry is also the poultry feed production too. Some are into producing of the poultry feed, and we have different types of poultry feed. We have different rations. We have our broiler rations, we have our layers ration. The broiler ration, we have the broiler starter, we have the broiler finisher. The broiler starter, they take initially from day 1 to like 4 weeks, and they will finish off with the finisher. While in production of the pullets, we have the chicks mash that they start with, we have the grower mash, then we have the layer mash that they finish with. Likewise, the cockerel start with chicks mash, then grower mash till they mature and sell. So anybody can key into different aspects. The major challenges, okay, let's still go into the technical aspect too. So when you are going into layers, technology has so done it well that initially we raise on the floor. The floor system where we put wood shaving on the floor, we supply it, and all that. We keep packing the shavings and all that. But now we rear in cages, such that the birds have no contact with their feathers. So we have less of disease incidents, less of feed wastage, less of water contamination. Even the old chicks use the nipple system also. So it makes it easier. Initial capital is expensive, but in the long run, it saves a lot of cost and labor also. So we have that too. Then some people also still, we have two systems of rearing layers, of course, the battery cage system and the floor system. The floor system is what's called the deep litter system. Why some people do that? Because they cannot afford the cage. The stress is much. The eggs will be dirty. That is when you see dirty eggs in the market. And you will wonder why they don't wash the eggs. Well, if they wash it, the eggs will get spoiled faster. Because if you have seen where birds are laying egg, and then they lay the egg, the eggs will be moist. And within seconds, minutes, it will dry off. So it's a kind of layer, powdery layer that is covering the egg, the shell pores. So if you wash, you are opening the pores. Air will enter faster and deterioration will set in faster. So the shelf life of the eggs will be reduced. So that's why you see such dirty eggs in the market. Why we have the battery cage system? The battery cage system also, we have different types. We have the open drinker, like you have the drinker in the front where the birds dip their beak and drink water, and you have the nipple system. In the nipple system, we have an upper where the water passes through the pipes and it takes to the nipple. The advantage of the nipple system is no contamination. The water, the contamination is reduced because when they eat, they dip their beak, the feed will also get into the water in the nipple system. The water will be fermenting. Then you have to wash the drinker every morning because water is a major source of disease outbreak in poultry. But in the nipple system, you don't necessarily have to wash every morning. Maybe you flush your pipe every week. Yes, well, affordable is relative. When you talk of affordable, it's relative. But it is affordable in the long run. It is better off than the open system. Because now things are so expensive. Even the drinker you put in front now, they may tell you it is 1,000 plus. Then by the time you get your pipe, the nipple, the drinker you put in front of 12, how many bots now? 15 bots, 15 to 16 bots. Now, when you buy your pipe, you are not going to use a whole length for that 16, or even if it's up to one length. I don't think it's up to one length for that. How much is the length of 3/4 pipe? 350 naira, 400 naira. Of course, by the time we now buy the nipple, it's 90 naira or 100 naira in 4 places or in 5 places. That's about 4,000, 90 naira in about 450 with your 350 naira. Then you drill it, attach it to it, But of course, the technology, I'm saying that because now I'm so exposed to it, I can say I want to do it myself. But the people that will construct the cage, the difference between the open drinker and the closest, the nipple drinker, is about 6,000 naira, 4 to 6,000 naira extra. So you are going to save yourself more than 6,000 naira when you use the nipple system because disease is less. Then you are sure that they will have access to water throughout. There is constant supply of water because you cannot always wash them. The open drinker won't contain 5 liters of water at once. So you have to be washing that. Okay, you need to go and top the water. So you need labor for that. And labor is not readily available. And even if they are available, they will just do their, when they know their guys coming, they will quickly go and top. And in layers, water must be there 24 hours. So for you to ensure that when you use this system, you are assured that you always have water for your boats. So, depending on the enterprise one is going into. The challenges, what are the major challenges? As far as I'm concerned, the major challenge is skill and market. The technical know-how. Okay. Some will include capital. There is no business you will do that does not require capital. So that's why I'm not mentioning capital. There is no business that does not require capital. So if you don't have money to some extent, there is no amount. You can start small and gradually improve. But I will say the major challenge is the technical know-how and markets. if you don't have the necessary skill, it requires skill and passion too. If you don't have the necessary training and you dabble into it because they say there is money into it, that is when the challenges will come. You know, people will see some people succeeding in it, packing plates of egg, going about. You don't know what it takes to get there. So you decide to go into it, that's when the problem will come into it. Because they are just like, they are living things. You are dealing with life. We don't have control over life. God has control over life. We are only trying our best. So if that has been established, that you know that this life can go anytime. But you try your best not to go, just like a human being. You cannot say you will die tomorrow, you will not die. No matter how careful you can be. So that's my own theory about it, about the risk involved. You just need to know the technical know-how. And it will come, the challenges will come. It doesn't mean you have to quit. People do business and they have challenges, they seize their goods or something happen. It doesn't mean that is the end of the life or you want to go and learn another trade. You pick yourself. I had challenges here last year. I lost best worth over 150,000 naira. It doesn't mean I should quit. That's what I know how to do. The challenges will come. It's not the end of it. And I've bounced back. And they are giving me back what I'm expecting from them. So it's one of those things. It's normal. So the challenges, the people that are quitting, maybe they are not used to, well, maybe they will continue to quit in wherever they go. That's just my own. If you quit, you will continue to quit in another enterprise. Or it is not their passion. So if you are not passionate about it, if you are not fanatic about it, you may not be able to stay. And the markets can be very frustrating. We don't have standardization of agricultural produce. Maybe because we are here to go into real value addition or processing. I think that's why we are having such challenges, the market challenge. You know, I don't think Nestle or Cadbury will complain of market because their goods will not get spoiled easily. Maybe they have their losses too. We see it on when they give the stock exchange and all that. But it doesn't mean the business will collapse or they will run away. They know it has its peak and lows too. But what the challenge you have here is that you cannot keep them. When your birds lay egg, you have calculated how much you use in production, you add it, okay, this is now my selling price, and the market is flooded. No off-taker. What do? Do you sell at the lesser price? Even sometimes, even at that reduced price, nobody to buy off. We have seen cases that farmers will have to dig the ground and bury eggs. It has happened. It doesn't mean they will quit, they will still come back. Why are they burying eggs? Because we couldn't convert the eggs to something else. And this egg powder is so important too that most companies are using them. But in this country, I don't think we have anything like that. Although I learned that plan is being done in Ogun State to have such machine or that will be converting the egg to powder. When we have cases like that okay, there's an off-taker for such, you are guaranteed. Then, whether in and out of season, you are always producing, your market is sure. So that's the major challenge that I think is in poultry production. Because when you rear broiler too, they are matured enough for market, you didn't see the market. Or the price being offered is so bad, you can't continue to keep your birds, they'll continue to eat. And the more they eat, the bigger they grow, there's a particular amount people will spend on birds. By the time I said my broiler is 6,000 naira, you were like, do you want to sell goods? You know, people who have set a mark that it is chicken, it has to be within this price range. And then you have already spent more than you need to spend before you can to sell it at that price. So that's where the challenges come in. So if we have a kind of price standardization, which you don't know how they are going to go about, but it is possible, because that's why we have in developed countries too. The standardization of price, you can't just go to the market and start pricing. There's already a price that you know that when you get there, this is the price you are going to get this product. It is not the case here. You can come to this farm now, buy egg from me for 800, get to another person, and when you bargain, they sell for you for 750. Maybe the person is desperate for market and eventually saw somebody to come along, just pack it. And you get to another person and tell you my egg is 900. And you buy from it, the same egg, within the same place, you buy from 3 people at different prices, which is not supposed to be the case, because the feed we are using, we didn't get them at different prices. When you sample prices of feed, finished feed out there, the difference about them is even plus or minus 50 naira gap. So you can now imagine when you now sell eggs and you continue to price and price and price. So I think that is the major challenge that we have, the technical know-how and the market. So besides that, I think agriculture is a very interesting venture, especially poultry too. Yes, cost of feed too, because they eat what we eat. Birds eat what we eat. They eat corn, we eat corn. They eat soya bean, we eat soya bean. They eat salt, we eat salt. They eat fish, we eat fish. There's competition. And those cultivating this crop too have their own challenges. Our crop in Nigeria is mostly rain-fed. We depend on rain. So when we have challenges of rain, the people growing corn, they will be challenged. They will not be able to produce optimally. So the few people that are able to survive it, or the little they are able to produce from the farm, will come out at a higher price. When you have a problem of drought and eventually you are expecting maybe 50 tons and you end up with 20 tons, you want to put all the costs you are spending on 50 tons to produce what you expect to on that 20 tons. So, and if peradventure we don't have many people that have such, the little that's available you want to buy because you want the best to survive. You want to keep producing, you have to buy it at any price. So that's when you have high price. Or when you have a case of disaster that will destroy farm, cattle issue and all that, this product is not available. Our best have to eat. So we have to buy it at any price they give us. And when we buy it at any price they give us and we produce, the consumer does not know what it costs to produce. That is why people will quit. And when they quit, those that are quitting now, the little people that are there, the little products that are available, a lot of people, demand and supply. A lot of people will be asking for such and the price will go up again. The truth of the matter is poultry farming in Nigeria has gone beyond what you know. You need to attend our conferences, exhibitions, and you'll be wondering, are these people farmers? Because it's going to be in AC all, everything. You will not, if you have not seen the banners and you will see the bus there in AC, everything, you will be wondering, are you sure these are farmers? So it has gone beyond that. The technology is being applied. It's just and people are already keen into it. The major challenge we have, why the prospects, of course, will get there, and I think we are overcoming it gradually. When you go to school to study something, it's another thing for you to go and study. It's another thing for you to go and learn or to go and read. Most people go to school to read now, not to learn. So they are not going there to learn the skill. So unless you learn, and the skill is still there, the investor are still the same, not as it has the basics are there. So the necessary exposure are there. The Nigerian technology has gone far in poultry. So there is prospect and people are going into it. Every day I have young people graduate that are calling me that, we want to go into, when they see me doing this, how do you do it? How do you manage to remain there? I try to give them some backbone. I give them the facts and tell them you have to be persistent and persevere, and they are ready to go into it. I have people, somebody still messaged me yesterday and said, please don't forget us. They need a space in the house. Okay, the neighbors, they will, okay, if I can help them through the government to access where they can start their own poultry farm. So people really want to go into it, despite that some people are quitting. Every day I'm in a group chat that they are asking for a pen. Poultry farm that are not being used, they want to rent, they want to lease. People are really still going back. As much as people are going out, some are coming into it. So it has good prospects. The government are bringing about different funds coming out for agriculture and all that, through BOA, BOI and all that too. Even BOI have applied too. They have told, in fact, I know that they did not follow up really. Not that the fund is not there. The fund is there. When they know that you can succeed in the business, they will give you the fund. I was trying to apply for 2 million. They said it's too small now. Apply for 10 million. I said, what? Because they trusted me that their money will be secured. They have seen what I'm doing and they are ready to pump in money into my business. So that's why I said the fund, thank God the government are making fund accessible now, especially through the BOI, CBN, and Kobura and other. So if you have the technology, if you have the technical know-how, because they will not just give you money, they will ask questions. So if they have that technical, I advise you be passionate, and nobody will just give you money because you answered one question. You have to be persistent. They will want to be thorough with you before they can release the money, so that they will know that the money will be used for what it's going to be used for. So it's a challenge too. Everybody needs money, as you can see in my pen too. I still need some cages that I need to put there, and I take my time because I'm involved in other. I have my cassava farm. I'm into fish also, so my funds are also diversified. So the funds are there too for those that can access it, and it's a challenge in terms of the. But as long as you have the skill and technology, when you start, you see people that will believe in you, that will assist, or you go there, and when you are able to convince them, you access the fund.
You're welcome back. That's all we have for you on Business School on Air today. My name is Tokumbo Debi. Join us same time next week for another fresh episode. Thank you and bye for now.